Well, the Philadelphia Eagles just got yet another distraction, as despite the fact that they're currently rolling through the NFC and they control the #1 seed, all the attention now seems to be going to the offensive struggles and specifically Jalen Hurts, as reports have come out blaming QB1 for a lot of the problems, while even saying that many within the building are frustrated with him. However, I'll break down why this media attack is really nothing to worry about. Plus, we'll look at Kevin Patullo's recent comments on how they can fix the offense, as well as Vic Fangio's comments on Andrew Mukuba, as the rookie safety has really been improving recently, along with the rest of the Eagles defense. So let's talk about that and all the other latest news starting right now. So it's certainly an exciting week for the Philadelphia Eagles, as not only is it Kelly Green week once again, as the Birds will wear their throwback classic unis for the second of 3 times this season, which is no doubt super exciting, especially considering that they've never lost wearing those jerseys, but it's also Cowboys week, as the Birds will travel to Dallas to take on their arch rivals for the second time this season, and I don't gotta explain it, but it's just always so exciting when the Eagles and Cowboys play each other, so no doubt this is going to be an exciting game and a fun week leading up to it, and while the Cowboys aren't necessarily a great team or anything like that, they do definitely present some challenges, and they're coming off a really good performance on Monday Night Football, where Dak Prescott lit up Las Vegas' defense for 4 touchdowns and led Dallas to a win over the Raiders by a score of 33-16. And while I will always and forever hate the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, to see them get a win for Marshawn Kneeland and all those struggling with mental health wasn't so bad.
Hey, listen up. Hey, before we do all the celebration stuff, let that thing go. Hold up. So proud of you guys, man. Amen. Tough couple weeks. We made them. We're proud. You guys made them. We're proud, man. Unbelievable. All right, here we go. I'm back. I'm good. I'm back.
Again, I'm always going to hate the Cowboys, but this is where things are just bigger than football. And I want to remind you guys, like, if you're struggling with something, don't be afraid to reach out to someone. And I also do want to thank you guys, not just for being there for me recently when I had to take a step back, but also for donating $278 across 6 of my videos to the American Foundation for Prevention. I mean, it might not seem that crazy, but thank you guys for making a difference, and if you want to donate on this video, you'll be able to do that as well. But again, getting back to the Eagles matchup with the Cowboys, it's obviously going to be a really fun game, and hopefully the Birds can dominate their arch rivals en route to sweeping them for the 2nd straight season. Unfortunately though, a lot of the attention the past couple of days hasn't gone towards that matchup, but rather has gone towards some recent reports that the Eagles are now all of a sudden frustrated with Jalen Hurts. I mean, how about that? We had weeks and weeks of A.J. Brown drama, and now we're finally through that, but all of a sudden, here comes this report about Jalen Hurts. Like, it's just crazy. You can't make that up. And it's also part of the reason that I take these reports with a huge grain of salt. And another reason is that the first of them came from the queen of drama herself, Diana Rossini, who of course was the main fueler of the A.J. Brown drama. And again, now that that's done, here she is with a report on Saturday saying that, according to people in the building, multiple Eagles offensive players have grown frustrated with Jalen Hurts' approach against zone coverage this year, which, immediately I wasn't buying that, again, just because of the other reports Rossini's had this year. However, after the game, Eagles reporter Derrick Gunn made some comments on Seth Joyner's show that are being taken a lot more seriously.
Dissected on film during practice, those things are talked about among the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, the head coach. It has been constantly discussed all season long, yet when they transition to the field on a football game, he plays his game. Not the game the coaches want him to play. He plays his game. I don't think you can get him out of that mode at this particular point. I think is what we're going to have to watch all season long is him playing his game. You look at a lot of quarterbacks, they're going to sling it. They're going to try to throw it through an eye of a needle. Sometimes you just have to take that chance. That's not his game. That's why he stands back there. A lot of times he's patting the ball, and it throws the timing of the offense off. The rhythm is thrown off. I don't think at this moment they can't get him out of it. It's frustrating in a lot of ways to the coaching staff and to the players. Extremely frustrating to the players because when they look at the film the next day or a few days later, they see what's available out there, what should have happened, and it didn't happen. It's frustrating to them as well. I'm just basically telling you there's a lot of people in that organization that are frustrated with the quarterback situation right now, but the quarterback understands he has them over a barrel. This is almost Carson Wentz part 2. They're not going to eat this kind of money yet. There's no way they're going to eat this kind of money.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. First off, I do think it's important to note that Derrick Gunn has covered the Eagles for a very long time and is well respected. So that's why this report is being taken more seriously. Not that Rossini's not respected, but she's just not as close to the situation. And again, she's been spreading drama this whole season. And going back to Gunn, I definitely don't doubt that somebody actually told him these things. And yes, the Eagles offense very much is struggling right now, especially these past 2 weeks. And Jalen does deserve some of the blame for that. Now, Gunn is saying that Jalen's just trying to do his own thing. He's trying to play how he wants to play, and he's not listening to the coaching. He's not taking opportunities or throws that are there. And he even said that the players see that on film, and that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from. Now, how true is all this? I personally don't know. I mean, I feel like there's probably some validity to it, and not all of it's true, but honestly, we have no real way of knowing. But I can tell you this. 1, regardless of how it looks, Jalen Hurts wins football games. No one can deny that. He simply always finds a way to win, no matter what it takes. 2, Jalen wants to get better, and he wants this offense to look better. Like, there is no way that you're going to convince me that Jalen Hurts is satisfied with how the Eagles offense looks right now, and also that he's not willing to take accountability for it. Like, he'd be the first one to do that. And, this whole thing about this being Carson Wentz part 2, that I personally cannot buy into. I mean, maybe in the sense that as the Eagles franchise quarterback, they both had a ton of power and a lot of control, and also they're being paid a lot of money, but Hurts is not Carson Wentz. He's not going anywhere. He's far more accomplished. He's a far better winner, and Hurts' mentality is far better than Wentz's, so I just can't even entertain that. And thirdly, Kevin Patullo and the coaching staff aren't exactly doing Hurts any favors. I mean, look at what Johnny Page said on Twitter. Quote, "Finally finished up the all-22 of the offense. Hurts obviously was not amazing, but if you watch this film and come away with the idea that the quarterback is the issue, I don't have a clue what you are watching." Without sounding blunt, I think it's incredibly obvious that the design isn't good enough. I don't think it's that difficult to spot that the issue lies with the design rather than with the individuals. So again, as much as Jalen Hurts and the players are not free from blame, the main problem is very clearly the coaching from Kevin Patullo and just the play calling in general. And also, regardless of how much truth there is to this report, I think the real issue is that there are people in the building leaking this stuff to the media rather than handling it in-house, because that's not cool. And Jordan Mailata said a similar thing on WIP.
Have you noticed any frustrations with Jalen, his way in or out of the building or his performance?
I guess we're watching two different clips, two different films. I can't speak on what Derrick's saying. If that's what he's seeing, I'm not going to sit here and tell him, hey, how dare you. Well, I don't see it. I know how much work Jalen puts into this.
I don't think it's fair that somebody within the organization, and this is not D Gunn is doing his job, that someone within the organization is taking shots at Jalen through the media.
I don't know, since this came out last night, you said?
Yeah, it was post-game.
It wasn't addressed in the team meeting, so I don't think we're going to make it a bigger deal than what people are making it outside this building. But I'm on the same wavelength as you, Eli. I think it's kind of unfair to say that he's the main problem when I come on this show every week and we break down the run game and we break down how that's not opening the passing game and then we break down protection and how we missed the call here and missed the block here, and so we're giving up sacks or we're giving up pressures. It's not, it's causing Jalen to scramble, and so I think it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy that somebody in the organization would do that.
At the end of the day, whether you believe this report or not, whether you're worried about it or not, I just don't think Jalen Hurts is the main problem. I think this is probably being blown way out of proportion, as these things often are. And come on, guys, this is the Super Bowl MVP, arguably the best, most successful quarterback in Eagles history, and he's still winning games. The Eagles are currently 8-2, and they're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and it looks like they got a shot to go back to the Super Bowl and win another one. So personally, I'm not going to take this era of Eagles football for granted, and I'm going to enjoy the winning while it's happening.
Everybody's got a whine and a bitch.
By the way, that comment from Vic is completely taken out of context and was said in a random conversation with the reporters, but I do actually want to circle back to his press conference because he had a few interesting comments. And we'll start off with what he said about Jalen Carter, as after an injury-plagued start to the season, he finally seems to be healthy, and Vic says that he's really starting to come along.
I think Jalen Carter has really kicked up his game here lately. So it's a combination of a bunch of things.
How much of that has to do with his conditioning from what you've seen with Jalen?
That has something to do with it. Plus, I think he was nursing that hit his shoulder, and then the thing that kept him out of the Giants game. I think it's conditioning improving and health improving.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Coach Fangio there. Carter definitely didn't look his best earlier in the season due to the fact that he was banged up, but good to hear that he's now healthier. And, just watching him, you can clearly see that he's starting to wreak havoc and look like the dominant star player that we know he is. So good to see Jalen Carter playing better. And it's also good to see the rookie safety Andrew Mukuba playing better, as Fangio had this to say about him.
With Mukuba, we talked about his kind of uneven season earlier. Is he finding more consistency?
Yes. And that's a part of us playing better too. He's, early in the year he had some, bad plays that led to big plays for the opponent, and we haven't had that lately.
As a coach, with a young player like that, do you just kind of have to live with that early in a rookie's career?
Yeah. I think I told you guys a story. Bud Grant always used to say for every rookie you play, add a loss to your win column, the loss to your loss column. I heard another guy say you got to pay taxes on when you play rookies. So, but now it's game 11 coming up. He's not a rookie anymore.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Mukuba has gotten better and much more consistent as time has gone on. Earlier in the year, he had some really big mistakes and lapses in coverage. He let up some really big plays and long touchdowns, but now that he's gotten some more experience and he's gotten more comfortable in the defense, he has been playing better and he hasn't had any of those big mistakes in a while. So shout out to him. And overall, just shout out to Vic Fangio's entire defense. Like I've already talked about, they are really starting to come on over these past 2, 3, 4 weeks, and they're back to that elite level that they were playing at towards the end of last season and in the Super Bowl. And really, everybody on the entire defense has elevated their play recently, which is something that Ray Didinger talked about with the guys on WIP.
One guy who has really picked up his game is Jalen Hunt. It's the last 3 games have probably been his best games, and last night he was really
noticeable. He previously was unnoticeable.
Well, Ray,
now he's making plays.
Yeah, Ray, I'll go him. I'll go Mukuba, who was costing them, touchdowns at points this year. He hasn't done that for a few weeks. I would say that Adoree Jackson has improved.
Yes.
To me, it feels like a bunch of their weakest defenders have improved, which is great.
I know, and we rightly talk about the defensive line, and we rightly talk about Davis, who's been very good, and Carter, who is a force pretty much every week. But Moro Ojomo has been a really good player. What a find! For a 7th round draft pick to come in and play the way he's played in the middle of that defensive line, they got a lot. Collinsworth made the point last night, and he's right about this. Is they are deep and they are strong at all 3 levels of defense.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw that clip in there because I thought Ray did a really good job of breaking it down. And again, really everybody on that entire defense is playing better, and they're shutting down opposing offenses and passing attacks right now, as they've allowed just 9 passing touchdowns and a quarterback completion percentage of just 56.6 on the year, which are both the best in the NFL. And that's even more insane when you look at the competition that they've played. So hopefully they can keep that up against Dak Prescott and a Cowboys passing attack that has been lethal this season. That said, also definitely hoping that they can finally get some help from the offense.
Yeah, I don't know if it's frustrating. I think it's exciting to know that we have a defense that can do that for us, right? And I think the cool part about it is we're playing as a team together. And I think it just goes back to all of us as coaches and players. Everybody wants to contribute. So, you feel like, hey, if I can do more, I want to do more, and I want to express it and show everybody that I can do more to be a part of this. So, they're playing phenomenal on defense right now, and we as an offense have to continue to find ways to do what we need to and, take games over and not just do it in certain spots. We need to do it kind of throughout the whole game.
Any one thing in particular that is most frustrating that you guys haven't been able to do or that you really need to fix?
I think like everything, when you look at the situations we have sometimes, when we're on track, we do a pretty good job. And if we get off track a little bit, whether it's a negative play or a penalty, that puts us kind of in a hole. We've had some trouble with that. So, it starts with us as a staff to make sure we're in a good play and we're executing at a high level and we're all detailed up. And then if something happens like a penalty, Sometimes those happen. We got to be able to overcome that. So that's kind of been the thing a little bit, because we've had opportunities. We just haven't, made the most of them at times. We know we're capable of. I know the guys are excited about it, and then, they feel like we're moving in the right direction. We just got to continue to push through that and explode when we need to.
I don't know, man. I mean, there's really not much to say about the offense at this point. Like, I've said it already. I mean, we know what they're capable of. We know how talented they are, and we've seen flashes of it this season. They just have to be consistent, like I've said for weeks now, and they have to keep themselves out of bad situations, like Patullo said there. And also, again, most importantly, Kevin Patullo and the coaches got to get their crap together and actually figure out how to run this offense, actually figure out how to call plays, actually figure out how to scheme guys open. Again, we've seen flashes, but it hasn't been consistent, and it's really holding this unit back. So can they do it? That remains to be seen. But hopefully they can, and again, I'm going to be covering everything, all the news, all the storylines that come out throughout this entire week in the lead up to the Eagles matchup with the Cowboys. So if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like down below to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes on this video. And also, hit the hype button, because that helps me out a ton as well. And leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And again, you can go donate to the American Foundation for Prevention. That'll be linked either below the video, next to it, somewhere around there. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video going over their dominant win over the Lions, you can check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.